Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303. Introducing one co-host with more nuggets than Chick-fil-A, Nick Morahan. Executive producer until we find someone better, Eric Washington. Nobody really knows what he does around here, Nevada Putnam. And now, the single greatest thing to happen to hosting in history, Jermaine Antonio Colon Mendez. On with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Podcast Room 303, episode 253. I'm your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This is my co-host, Nicholas Morahan. And as always, we have with us the EPs, Nevada and on today's episode, we'll be getting into head-to-head. We'll get into pop culture pick'em. We'll get into Blind Five, some NBA and NHL postseasons, a little bit of Kentucky Derby betting nuggies, and then we'll talk about the 2024 NFL Draft in all its splendor. How are you doing this evening, Nick?
I'm good, man. I'm glad that for once my predictions aren't coming true. I'm very good at betting. I'm not good at winning. I'm good at betting. The bet button is worn out on DraftKings for me right now. But if I could just get a win, I would love that. I had a big win the other night, actually. I hit a nice 2,200 parlay in the Avs game. So that was pretty good. That was a good win. It wasn't documented anywhere, but
still down 3K on the year, though.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's the actual number. But
no, there's no way. I'm not one of those guys that as I start to lose, I bet bigger.
Why not?
I'm down to like 50-cent unit sizes at this point.
Just need to feel something.
Just quarters to feel something.
Just need to feel it. And you and Nevada, how you doing this evening?
I am doing good. Weather's good. I think winter is finally behind us.
Not so fast, my friend.
I was about to say that's the kiss of death. Someone's getting snow tomorrow.
That's bold in Colorado.
He's getting snow tomorrow. I was just in Detroit for the NFL draft, and it was so cold. I was just like, it's fucking April. What are we doing? This is bullshit, dude. I've never been so annoyed in my life. I was like, get your shit together, Detroit. Well, why is it so goddamn cold?
There's congrats out to you, Jermaine. You set a record, a Guinness Book World Record you set by being in the draft.
Oh, yeah, single-handedly.
700,000 people attended the NFL draft over 3 days, and it set a record for most attendees of the draft. So I guess the cold weather didn't keep everybody away.
Well, it's because they're all shitty Detroit Lions fans, so
right.
They have nowhere else to be. It was not well planned out. There wasn't like the food was not readily available.
What about the drinks?
The drinks were in copious amounts, but like if you were hungry, be damned. You had
they didn't have food stands, or you had to like walk away from the stage to get food stands?
Yeah, so imagine 700,000 people over 3 days, and there's only one spot to get food from. Like, come on, guys. We could have split this up just a little bit. Like, I mean, Detroit, four here, four there. Like,
Detroit is known for its urban planning, so I'm very surprised.
There's just one vending machine off in the corner that everybody has to put their shitty dollars through.
It's just a couple kids running around with candy boxes. Yeah, no, Detroit, way more Midwest than I thought it was going to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and also,
makes complete sense.
I got into the discussion. Holy shit, that dude got blasted. Of
Jermaine's watching gay porn, by the way. So shout out Pornhub.
It is the Sixers versus Knicks, so you're right. What was
You're watching Six Guys versus Nick?
Yeah, I actually shot this myself. I'm a director.
Nice, very nice, very nice.
What was I gonna say? Also, it got me into the discussion of like why we still call it the Midwest. Like it's not west to anything. You know what I mean?
What's the mid? That's because it's the Midwest.
It's only west to people on the east. There's an entire rest of the country who's like, why the fuck are we calling it the Midwest? Dude, that camera angle. Ooh.
At one point in the 1700s, that was the West.
Yeah, before Manifest Destiny, you know what I mean? And blankets killing people.
So they decided either west. Do we name the western states the further west, or do we just rename Detroit West now Midwest? I think that's what the founding fathers argued.
And I'm saying it's pretty terrible, especially considering Detroit's still on the Eastern time zone.
Yes.
So, all right, I'm not getting the engagement I wanted on this, but let's move on. Let's get into the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, we're jumping right into it.
Hello, we're recording.
First Saturday in May. My two beautiful co-hosts of this podcast, well, one co-host, one executive producer. They love the Kentucky Derby. This is the 150th anniversary of the running of the horses at Churchill Downs. There are 14 races, I believe, in the Kentucky Derby. The main race that we're focused on is race 12. That starts at 6:57 p.m. East Coast time.
So precise.
So precise. 6:57. Nevada and I and a Tens and Tens listener, Blake Reynolds, attended the Derby last year. It was a good time. Nevada, what was your review? What should fans going to the 150th Derby expect from your attendance at the 149th Derby?
It's a good time. I was actually surprised. I thought it'd be kind of, I don't know, a little bit more lame, I guess. But maybe that's, if you're sitting in the stands, it might be, because that's where the hoity-toity people are at. But in the infield where there's, what they say, like 100,000?
Yeah, I mean, and it felt it too.
Yeah.
Oh, the pores were out.
It both. I mean, I don't know if you had this same feeling. It both felt like there was 100,000 people there, and it also didn't, because we had enough room to get a spot. We were never really cramped. We always got a drink whenever we needed it.
Yeah, I would say the biggest issue, which I think we would have changed going forward, would be to downloading their sports betting app. Because obviously you can bet in person there, but those lines, fuck.
Oh man,
I
think
talking half an hour, 45 minutes.
That's a pro tip after action report bullet right there, if I ever heard one.
Not even 45 minutes. I think we missed 3 races, and the races happen every 30 minutes. I think we missed 3 races just sitting in the line, because there is a certain je ne sais quoi to standing in a line, going to the ticket, getting your horse betting ticket from a lady who looks road hard and put up wet. And I mean that in both the sexual and non-sexual ways, like smoking a cigarette. She's got cigarette burns. She's like, "What do you want, sweetie?" You tell her what you want. She rings it all up. You have to ask your buddy for another $90 because you panicked and got too much. But yeah, I think that's a really good tip for anybody that's going to the Kentucky Derby. If you want to do it and you want to pay cash, you want to sit in the lines and it's your first time, do it by all means. Pick the line that's moving the fast. Don't be afraid to move lines. And I think we kind of got there a little bit later. So we were kind of like, Nevada and I both were like rushed straight into the betting line. Whereas other friends of our group probably had a better time because they just got to sit and watch horse races. They
didn't have to sweat out their horse coming around the turns and all that.
Yeah. I picked the NC State of Horses last year. So jumped out to a huge lead. And I was like, it's the worst feeling in horse racing when your horse jumps out to a amazingly fast lead. And you're like, oh, fuck. Because there's that moment of like, my number's in the lead. And then you're like, oh, no, this is not when you want to see your number in the lead.
There's still a mile to go.
Right. It's like a 2-0 lead in soccer.
Yeah, a 2-0 lead in soccer when you see that ball going towards the net and you're like, oh, no, we blew it.
Or a double-digit lead on Patrick Mahomes in the postseason.
Yeah, or apparently a 20-point lead in the NBA playoffs. Those switch rapidly. That's the worst lead to have.
That's why I always crack up when people are like, I don't watch it till the final 4 minutes. I was like, you missed a lot of craziness because one team is going to go up 20, They're going to get comfortable. The other team's going to get hot because they're also professional ball players. The crowd's going to go nuts. Someone's going to get dunked on. I'm like, you're missing all the good stuff. I was like, all right. The Clippers blew a 31-point lead the other day.
Love it.
But
absolutely love it.
We'll talk about that in the playoffs. Let's get into your bets.
Yeah. So the most popular bet at the Kentucky Derby is what's called a win, play, show bet. So essentially, when you bet this horse, you get money if it finishes first, win, second place, or third show. If the horse wins, then you get all the money. So all the bets on this horse go into a pot. All the money goes into a pot, and it gets paid out based on a payment structure for a win, play, show. You can pick the traditional just outright winning horse. I'll also give you that bet. But win, play, show, it goes into a pot. If the horse finishes third, you get just money for third. If the horse finishes second, you get money for second and third. And then obviously if the horse finishes first, it wins. You get money for first, second, and third if that horse wins. There's also other bets where you pick the horses, sort of like a parlay in horse racing. Exacta is 2 horses. Trifecta is 3 horses. Superfecta is 4 horses. And Super High 5 is 5 horses. Okay? You can pick them straight, which means the horses have to finish in that order for you to win. Or you can pick them in what's called a box. Nice. Where if I pick, for example, a trifecta box and I pick 3 horses, those 3 horses can finish in whatever order, 1, 2, and 3, but those 3 horses have to occupy the first 3 positions.
Right.
So with that being said, one thing to look for in Derby racing is there's no requirement to get into the Kentucky Derby other than the horse has to be under 3 years old or has to be under 4 years old and are normally colts. I think they have to be over 2 years old as well. Maybe 2-year-olds don't run. But there's no prerequisite races to get into the Kentucky Derby. There are 4 big ones before the Kentucky Derby. There's the Santa Anita Grade 1. There's the Florida Derby. There's the Bluegrass Stakes. And there's the Arkansas Derby. You will see all of the horses in the Derby participating in at least one of those races. But horses do not have to be entered in a specific race. So the thing to look for in a Kentucky Derby is you want a horse to continue performing. That's a big horse right there, right?
That's a horse that will carry a team.
That's a horse that can carry a team right there, right? As you see up on screen on YouTube. For those of you listening on the good old-fashioned radio, you're missing Jermaine dressed up as a Saints player. So for these horses, what you want to look for is you want to look at there's a thing called speed factor, which is basically how fast and how well the horse ran that race. You want to see a horse that is improving over his last 2 races leading up to the Derby. So if the horse was slow, a little bit slower and then a little bit faster, he will generally be fast at the Derby. You want to also look for no tracks really are, and that's because no tracks are like the Derby, right? If a horse can hit an average speed and keep that average fast speed, that means over a mile and an eighth track. That means that over a mile and a quarter, which is what the Derby is on dirt, he should be able to keep up that same speed as well. With that said, and also before you make these bets, but also understand that the bets can be refunded all the way up until that 6:57 Eastern kickoff because horses can be scratched. For example, I believe Ennis or whoever the horse was that got scratched already. Kentucky Derby. Let me see. Yeah, so horses can be scratched all the way up to event time, right? And that's unfortunate because my 3rd place horse got scratched already. With that being said, I'm going to pick Just Steel, the number 6 horse. That'll be the horse I'm going to put to win. I'm also putting a win place show on that horse. The number 2 horse, Sierra Leone, is the betting favorite coming in. I'm going to pick him as my 2nd horse. The number 17, Fierceness, I will also pick as a win place show bet. I'm going to bet all those 3 horses straight trifecta as I described them. Just Steel, Sierra Leone, and Fierceness, 1, 2, and 3, respectfully. In my straight trifecta, I'm also going to bet them in a box like I talked about. Also, a couple of horses to look at. I'm looking at Doornatch in the 4th position and Epic Ride in the 5th position. I'm not betting that straight, but I will bet a straight Just Steel, Sierra Leone, Fierceness, Doornatch, Epic Ride for my 1 through 5 super high 5. This year, that would pay out a $1 bet, pays out $314,000. And again, that's just like a parlay, right? I have to hit each of those horses in that category.
Exact order, yeah.
As a note, Just Steel is the offspring of Justify, a former Kentucky Derby winner. So somebody to look out for there. Anything for you guys to add on the Kentucky Derby?
Nick is on an all-time losing streak right now. So take those horses that he told you are going to win and do not pick them. You have now just dwindled your field down to a very sizable, easy selection point. So go ahead and review those horses and pick from that batch. You will do 100 times better. I promise.
I couldn't agree more with Jermaine. 2 ancillary subjects with the Kentucky Derby. Nick, were the drinks, was it a cash bar only?
I don't think so. Maybe it was. I don't think so, though.
I can't remember.
I don't think it was. Because I was all out of cash after my visit to the betting station.
Yeah, you had to borrow 90.
Yeah.
Drinks are a little bit pricey, however.
You know that going to a major sporting event.
And don't forget
with a stuffy crowd.
Don't forget to look into the Kentucky Turtle Derby.
Is it back?
I haven't seen it posted yet, but there are different places that are doing their own version. So it's not the Old Forester just yet that they've announced, but they would have announced it by now. But there are other places that are doing their own version.
Suck it, Old Forester, you bastards.
Give the people what they want.
God, what's up with 5 Dimes and Old Forester just letting us down?
Probably owned by the same guy.
Well, he got blapped, so.
Yep.
It was owned by the same guy.
A lot of red up on that board, by the way.
R.I.P. 5 Dimes. 5 Dimes got blapped. Let's get into head-to-head. Last week was a rough showing for myself and Nick, as is customary. I went 0-3. Nick went 0-3. He couldn't get the first linebacker drafted, even though Edgerrin Cooper hadn't been drafted yet, so it's an interesting choice. Nevada went 2-1. He took a Winnipeg Jets first period money line and Toyota winning team. He conspicuously did not submit a winner for the race this time because you can't pick those.
Did your winner hit though, Nevada? The one that you picked in your head, or might have picked on your DraftKings app?
I probably would have picked a couple. So I would have been.
You can't say afterwards that you would have picked the winner because I would have picked the winner looking at it afterwards.
I don't think I was going to pick the winner. No.
Okay.
Hamlin. I'll be honest.
Okay. That's how benevolent of you. Eric submitted 3 more NBA parlays. He went a whopping 1-2, hitting on his last one for the week, which was a Miami Heat plus 15, which is a bonkers playoff spread. And the Pelicans Thunder over. We're off to a rousing start this week already. There's already red on the ledger. Nick and Eric have already missed bets this week, but Eric did hit one, so that's good for him.
A Steven Stamkos goal away from hitting the from hitting my parlay, but missed it.
Missed it by that much. Follow podcast motto, fade us. We really do suck at this. This is purely done for fun. I think it's fun at this point.
It's something. We keep doing it, so either we're insane or it's fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the latter, dude.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely going with the latter. Let's get into pop culture pick'em though. I don't want to talk about my losses no more. It's depressing. Here's something I always win at: pop culture pick'em. Today's topic: top 5 things everybody should hate. The order is Nick, Nevada, myself. Kick it off, Nick.
I'm going 1-1 with Nevada's worst snack list. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go listen to 2 episodes ago when Nevada had the worst snack list that everybody should hate. Nevada, what's your favorite Pop-Tarts flavor?
S'mores.
Exactly. Go listen to the episode.
This communist, dude. This absolute communist.
You just heard Pop-Tarts on the list and didn't hear the reasoning why. You just blacked out at that point.
No, I saw your list.
There's no reason Pop-Tarts should have been on the worst snacks list.
Pop-Tarts
what pushed me over the edge.
Pop-Tarts need to be, we talked about this last episode. Pop-Tarts need to be double stuffed. If they're double stuffed, they're a good snack.
You need to be double stuffed for that list.
Well, don't let your mouth write checks. Booty can't cash.
That a boy.
Whoa, okay.
We got there eventually.
We got through it.
The latent homosexuality is rampant with us. All right, Nevada, let's get your next pick.
I'm gonna go with what should be 101. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
Fantastic.
No, I'm kidding. I will start with being sick. Everybody should hate being sick.
Being sick, that's a great choice.
Being intolerant. When you're a kid, when you're a kid, being sick kind of slaps. Sometimes.
Well, yeah.
No, it does not.
Like a little minor cold?
Because they would make you go to school. They didn't let your ass stay home, dude.
I stayed home.
Nah, well, see, I did not have white parents. So.
Nevada had loving white parents.
Yeah,
I also had to go to school.
Yeah, for sure. My mom's always like, actually, she wasn't really that bad, but I never have actually tried to get out of school that often.
She doesn't even remember your name, Jermaine.
No, she does not, which is hysterical. No, but I actually didn't try. I liked going to school. I was a dork, so I actually liked going to school because you would get to see your friends. That's why I was just like, why are people always trying to miss school?
Same.
See, the problem was when Dad would come home because he wasn't there in the morning. So he'd get like a phone call from Mom in the morning, be like, oh, yeah, Nevada's staying home sick today. Oh, okay. Then he shows up at noon or 1 or something. He's like, you sick? You throwing up? No, I feel kind of better. Uh-huh. It's like, God damn it.
Then if it's nice outside, I guarantee you he'd make you do yard work.
He did say a few times, he's like, I know it'll make you feel better. Come out, let's pull these weeds.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, he's right, because you were faking. That's the other thing. Parents know you're faking.
Oh, 100%.
I'm going with GOAT discussions. That's like, it's officially my least favorite thing because that's all ESPN cares about. There's entire like playoff series going on, and instead they're talking about what's LeBron going to do this offseason. And LeBron is already answering fucking questions passive aggressively and like saying he won't. Oh, I don't know. Maybe I will leave the Lakers. Maybe I won't. So it's already fucking annoying. So
yeah, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then I'm getting push notifications that the Lakers are really pushing towards an extension, a 3-year, $140-something million extension with LeBron.
Dude, it's
like he's going to be back. He does this every single offseason.
Every offseason, it's the same old song and dance just to keep his name in everyone's mouths. And that's all ESPN does. It's fucking annoying. I wish ESPN was as dope as it was in the early 2000s.
It's just basketball. It's just basketball, guys.
I will say,
bro, but when he wins, it's like, put some respect on my name. The bubble was difficult. Oh, shut up. It's just basketball, right? Fucking loser.
I will say those questions where they're asking, hey, is he going to retire? He'll let us know when he's going to retire because he's going to have the Derek Jeter send off.
Oh, my God.
1,000%.
Yeah.
He might do a 2-year farewell tour.
He might start now. Yeah. He might have the pre-farewell tour.
He might be like, I'm only signing a 2-year contract with the Lakers. My last game is going to be 2026 season. Like, he will let people know, and it's going to be annoying.
He's going to be that old rock band that's like touring for 50 years. They're like, this is the final tour.
Oh, no, we're serious, guys.
Yeah, it's like a fucking combat sports retirement, dude. Yeah. And then I'm going with sweeps. Playoff sweeps.
Even when it's your team?
No, that's in the parentheses.
Okay. I was about to be like, man, I've never been upset when my team's like, whoo, that was easy. All right, let's move on.
Unless it's your team, like unless you're the 2007 Rockies or something. But like, unless
why'd you have to do
that? I was gonna say, like, when we smoked Edmonton to go to the Cup, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. You got like an extra week of rest. They were ready.
Yeah, no, I agree. If it's your team, you love it. But there's the rest. You're like 5%. The other 95% of people should hate that shit.
Yeah,
because it's the worst. The two best words in sports is Game 7.
Yeah, except when it's your team.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's pretty exciting if your team isn't at Game 7. That means they have a chance to win. It means they didn't get swept.
Yeah, your team getting swept is the all-time like
it's the worst, bro.
Because there's a moment in Game 4 where your team realizes, like where your team just gives up. In every sweep, there's a moment in Game 4, whatever sport you're watching, where you see your team give up and start to think about next year. And you're like, no, you're like Matthew McConaughey behind the bookcase in Interstellar. You can't do anything about it.
For sure. It's the worst, dude. And that's why, like, I was rooting for the Bulls to beat the Heat in the play-in, but I was like, did I really want to see the Celtics?
At least it's one game of shitty basketball versus 4 games of shitty basketball.
Yeah, dude. Did I want Kobe White to get some playoff experience? Sure. Did I want the Celtics? Absolutely not. Because it didn't matter who we were playing. We're not beating a team in a 7-game series, but that's neither here nor there. Nevada, your pick. Stop talking about the shitty Bulls.
I'm going to go with one that hits close to home for Nick, and that's losing the last leg of a big parlay. There is absolutely no joy in that. If you've been there, you know exactly what that feeling is like.
It's the worst feeling.
I would rather lose a big parlay on the first leg and win every other single leg.
I'd rather miss every leg of a parlay.
Yeah.
Than lose on the last leg.
I mean, that's brutal. I mean, let's just take football. You nail the early games. You nail the 4:05 games on the East Coast, and it just comes down to like Sunday Night Football, and it's just like it's so close, and you're like, fuck me, dude.
You just need that over/under to hit. You're like, I just need one field goal, just one field goal. I need 2 more points.
I'm really happy Nevada didn't take my second pick. It's going to be the Detroit Red Wings. Everybody should hate the Detroit Red Wings. I think we should pass it into national law. Like Jermaine said, right, with the draft, Detroit is a pile of shit. I'm paraphrasing from him. A pile of shit filled with shitty hockey teams, I think is why the draft was so terrible.
Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
By the way, you'll appreciate it. I was in touchdown in Detroit and immediately started talking shit about the Red Wings.
As I would expect you as a good friend of mine to do. In my out of respect to me.
I was like, fuck the dead things. Go Hawks.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, put a flavor on it.
Everyone got so mad that I was a Blackhawks fan. And then also I kept because they were like, it was fixed. Connor Bedard of the Blackhawks was fixed. I was like, we sucked. We were in the top 4 for a reason. We were tied for the least amount of points for a reason. It's not like we were the 14th worst odds and got the number 1 overall pick. We were a shitty team. And I was like, and you're going to be pissed off when we get the number 1 again this year. We're drafting Macklin Celebrini. So fucking eat my ass.
Yeah, this isn't David Stern with the frozen envelope and the New York Knicks. Like, that's not this. They were the worst team. They had the highest odds to get it, and they got it.
Yeah, dude, we suck.
This is like a minus 10,000 for them to get the first pick. And guess what? They got it.
They successfully failed.
Yeah,
what they did.
Successfully failed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I don't understand. Everyone's like, it was fixed. I was like, dog, we had the least amount of points in hockey. That's not good, my boys. That's not good. All right, what's the next pick, Nick?
I'm going to go small plates at a restaurant. There's never enough food. Everyone should hate them. I don't know why the restaurants exist.
Have you had? I'm not nearly fancy.
That really popped Jermaine.
No, dude, 'cause my dumbass like pictured small plates.
Like big food, small plates.
Physically small.
How am I gonna eat all this spaghetti? That would also be. I've never experienced that, but that would also be very annoying.
That's why I was laughing, dude, because I was like, why did I picture that? I knew exactly what you meant.
I'm glad you said that because I was about to ask.
10-ounce sirloin.
I was just about to literally ask. I was like, what about those big plates with like tiny amount of food where you pay a lot of money?
Yeah, that's that, Nevada.
Okay, I was thinking
Jermaine,
it's a tiny little plate.
No.
That's a butter plate.
Nope, like tapas at a restaurant.
Okay. All right, me and Jermaine were on the same level here.
Oh, dude, that's why I'm still dying, dude. All right, go ahead. My bad.
I'm going to go with getting cut off in traffic. I know that's Nick's favorite.
Oh, there's a rage that builds when that happens.
What's the old Shane Gillis joke? Racism is like hunger. Yeah, you're not racist now, but if a hamburger cuts you off in traffic, you're gonna get awful hungry.
Oh, that's good. I'm going with soggy bread
and soggy boobs.
Nah, dude, those are still fun.
Soggy bread?
Soggy bread, dude. Like when the bread gets too wet because there's too much juice on the sandwich, and
it's like a PB&J. I made this mistake a couple times, or when my parents actually made my lunch for me. My dad would make. Nevada's heard this rant before. My dad would make the peanut butter and the jelly, and then make the sandwich and put it in the fridge. So when I would get it and break it out at like noon the next day, it was just like a soaked through piece of bread.
It was so nasty.
It was so nasty.
It looked like your bread had a fungus on it. It would just bled through.
Yeah, you got to make that day of, Big Papa. You can't be making that. You can't pre-make a peanut butter and jelly.
And he'd be like, "Oh, great." So I guess I never told him this. So, Dad, if you're listening, those fucking suck, dude.
Unless it was an Uncrustable, because those are fine.
Oh, Uncrustables are fine.
No, they are not. The peanut butter and jelly in it is disgusting.
A little fire.
It's disgusting. The bread is low quality. It's for peasants.
You get them at Nevada. Have you ever done the? Yeah, well, yeah, yes. Look your middle and bottom of your screens. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not necessarily
where we're at.
I just I'm a peasant with choice, I guess. And then I'm going college students who think they know the world.
Oh, I know that's a classic one for you.
Can I add on also? College students who think they know the world and tell people who have been out in the world how the world works.
Dude, just college students. God, they suck.
That always gets a chuckle out of me is when a college kid's like, "This is how it should work." I'm like, "Oh, is it? Is it?"
Oh. In your infinite wisdom, learning that socialist knowledge that you're just soaking up from these schools. You're over here flying flags for dude.
I'm not even going to put a political take on it. I've met people at non-political universities doing non-political things that's like, oh, that's the way financial management works. Oh, does it? Is that how I should do it?
Dog,
I guess my 10 years in industry don't matter.
They know everything. They know everything. And it's mind-boggling because none of them can multiply.
or do normal math.
Bro, something that maybe should have been on this list is like when you see math problems on social media and then you click into the comments and you're just reading how wrong all these answers are.
Some people have got to be trolls. I don't lose faith in humanity because I just think to myself, some of those people have to be trolls.
It has to, but there was this question that I just saw today. It was just like there was 49 dogs signed up for a dog show, and there's 36 more small dogs than large dogs. And, so you have to do like a calculation, right? So it's like L plus S, L plus L plus 36 equals 49 or something like that, right? Or L plus S plus 36, however you want to put your goddamn algorithm. You could do X and Y if you wanted to, right? But there has to be 36 more small dogs than large dogs. So you're not just doing 49 minus 36 to get 13 large dogs, because that would only mean that there's 23 small dogs more. Oh, dude, I was losing my shit. And people, the way people write it too is just like, God, how stupid are some of you? And then they'll say the wrong answer, and I'm just like, God, that's an awful look, bro. Yeah, it's not 36. It's 36 more. So it's like I lost my mind reading it. I was just like, these people are idiots.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
My next pick is going to be getting stuck at the end of a long line of traffic, especially on the highway. You're just cruising along, and then you just see 2 miles of brake lights, and fuck.
I will also add another one onto that for no reason. If someone has slammed into somebody else and it's lit a ball of inferno, or a tree's falling over the highway, or some other catastrophe, fine, whatever. I don't care. But if it's just people slowing down because somebody slowed down and then it's the accordion effect, that's where you're like, fuck you guys. Or people can't merge when a 4-lane highway goes to a 3-lane highway.
Dude, oh my God. They can't even get on the highway at highway speeds. People don't understand what an on-ramp is.
Nope.
Especially the on-ramps that go downhill so you can gain speed. It's a mind-blowing idea.
Getting on the highway 35, if someone runs into you and you got on the highway at 35 miles per hour, you should be at fault.
Yeah, you're at fault.
Yeah,
have you seen the new feature in the Teslas? The last update the Teslas installed for their auto driving feature is they will attempt to go around traffic and cut in at the last possible moment.
Oh, that's safe.
What? So
like if you have
more traffic?
Yeah, so if you have an off-ramp, the Tesla will attempt to go around that stoppage and cut back in as close to the end of the off-ramp as it can find.
Why would that be a feature? Let's just create more traffic.
Yeah, it just or get into an accident. And then like imagine being the idiot that you get in an accident and you weren't even driving. Like what do you like, how stupid would you feel? Like your car just barrels into the side of another car and you're like, oops, I wasn't driving. Well, maybe you should be.
Nevada, tell me you drive too much without telling me you drive too much. Just based on this list.
I will do for my fourth pick, I'll do ISIS.
ISIS or ISIL?
ISIS. I don't care about the Levant at all. Well, maybe ISIL, I guess, because I don't really just care about Syria, but do ISIS / ISIL. To be honest, I don't really know where ISIL stops or ISIS stops and ISIL begins.
How about the Taliban?
Never had personal interaction with them. I'm more an old-fashioned Al-Qaeda hater.
You know what really cracked me up was when Taliban took back over and Joe Biden was just like, I'm very disappointed they didn't have more diversity in their government. I'm like, what?
That's amazing. You know what cracked me
I'm like, dude, they kill women out there and put them into sexual slavery, dude. What are you talking about?
I don't really think there's any African Afghanistan people. African Afghani people. You know what really cracked me up? The report that came out 6 months after they took over, which basically said they were losing freedom fighters. They were losing Mujahideen at a record number. They were having record number desertion because the freedom fighters don't want to sit in and have middle management office jobs. They basically took the structure of their fighting forces and were like, okay, now you run a government. And some dude who was like out fighting, like taking down American tanks or like taking down like pro-government tanks is now like sitting trying to work XL. It's like that's the US's ultimate revenge.
Damn, that's funny as hell, bro. They're like this. Even they don't like the 9-to-5 life.
No, they interviewed one guy and he's like, I used to be out. I used to drive trucks. We used to go wherever we want. We used to fight. We used to be freedom fighters. He's like, now I just send emails and click on XL. I'm like, same, brother. Same.
I felt that, bro. I felt that.
Yeah.
Two sides of the same coin, huh?
It really is. There really is. Jermaine made an excellent segue in bringing up Afghanistan. My fifth one is going to be the British. Everybody should hate the British. Every geopolitical conflict that's going on right now is because of the fucking British.
No.
How?
Yeah.
Because they took these tribal lands and they just drew a line down the middle and they went, you stay on that side. You stay on that side. We're going to claim this. This is all ours. And you're named this.
God bless him. Just kidding. The British. The British are not relevant anymore.
Good.
Everyone celebrates independence from them. That's how
Good.
pathetic they are now. They used to own the whole world. Now everyone's just like, suck it, losers. We have a party to celebrate that you don't own us anymore.
There was some sort of Reddit thread where it was like, what's your country's greatest contribution to the world? And someone from Britain replied like, Independence Days around the world.
That's amazing. That's hysterical. The stupid British.
All right, for my last pick, I'm going to go with movies that your friends say is great, but is absolute trash when you watch it.
Oh, give us an example. Name names.
Dune.
You didn't like Dune 2?
I haven't seen Dune 2 because I don't want to. Dune 1 sucked.
Dune 1 was not great.
Dune 1
2
was
is amazing.
Dune 1. First of all, don't tell Dune fans. Dune 1 was not that good. Dune 2 was fantastic, though.
Dune 2 is pretty good.
Dune 2 was fantastic, though. Dune, the first one, they just sucked the dick of that movie because of the director, and yeah, that director can do no wrong. If you remotely point anything out, like how incoherent kind of Dune 2 was, because it jumps around a lot. You're the Antichrist.
That was Nevada. That was my biggest complaint about Dune 2 was that the fight scene was not longer.
Yeah, I think I had heard you say that. I'll wait till it comes out on streaming.
Probably good. I mean, it's out on Apple TV if you want to pay $25.
I don't.
Actually, no, because you have my Apple TV. So don't you dare pay $25.
Why is that to buy the movie though? It's got to be to buy it.
No, I think it's to rent.
Why would it cost more to rent than to go to the theaters and pay the $20 to watch it?
To
Capitalism.
You don't get to own it for $25.
Well, here, let's see.
It's got to be to own.
Let's see.
He puts his glasses on. Also, you're about to get a cease and desist letter from Apple TV for sharing your account like that, dude.
Fuck them. I think I should Apple TV. Like try to track me through my subsidiaries. There's like 15 people that have this password.
And I'm gonna go with lack of salary cap in sports for my final choice.
Lack of salary cap. There's Kathleen made a profile on here. I think she might have taken my dad's profile off, which is kind of hilarious. All right. I swear to God, it was just here.
All right. While Nick looks that up, I'm going to run through the list real quick. Again, top 5 things everybody should hate. Nick had the first pick. His list goes with apparently my worst snack list.
It was awful.
The Detroit Dead Things. Small plates at restaurants, which are not actual plates, the items in the plates. ISIS and ISIL, and the British. I had the second pick. I went with being sick, losing the last leg of a big parlay, getting cut off in traffic, getting stuck at the end of a long line of traffic, and movies your friends say is great but is actually trash. And Jermaine finished this off. He started with GOAT discussions, playoff sweeps unless it's your own team, soggy bread, college students who think they know the world, and the lack of salary cap in sports.
So I got it pulled up. Dune Part 2 on Apple TV is $25 to rent, $30 to buy.
Why?
I mean,
Capitalism.
$30 is a Blu-ray. It's a brand new Blu-ray was $30, so I understand that.
The buy is
But
fine.
the rent is just way too crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's absurd.
You get movie tickets for two. Maybe you have the one place that I could see it is maybe you have a big family or you have a lot of friends and you just have everybody over and then that saves the movie tickets.
They don't know that.
If it's just you, no, that's
so now I got to charge friends and family admission for us to rent this.
Yes,
to rent this movie.
You should be doing that for free movies.
I pay for Netflix,
Right.
therefore you pay me to watch this movie on Netflix.
Exactly. Yeah, this guy gets it.
Oh God,
the Bruins, by the way, just quick NHL update. The Bruins have 2 shots on goal and 1 goal. The Maple Leafs have 13 shots on goal and 1 goal.
Well, that's weird. It still says 1-0 for me on the Bruins Maple Leaf score.
Yeah, 1-1 here.
Yeah, now it says 1-1. Oh, I guess their bracket doesn't update in real time. What's the Hurricanes Islanders series at?
3-1.
And the Hurricanes are currently up 3-1, 5 minutes left in the first.
Yeah, the first round since we're talking about it, the first round for the NHL has kind of been a little lackluster,
huh? Good games. I would say the favorites are winning the games. In the favorites have taken the lead in the series in spectacular fashion. With the Avs Jets series notwithstanding, again, Nevada and I watched all periods of all games. So it's
Stars and Golden Knights series has been fire.
Great series in that for sure. The Vancouver Canucks are holding a fan sweepstakes to have to pick their next goaltender and still up 3-1 on the Preds. That's been a great series. We kind of knew the Caps coming in weren't going to do that great. We all knew, but some idiot on this podcast picked them to win. Tampa Bay gave Florida a run for its money in a lot of the games, except you can just see that. And I think the announcers made a really good point in the Florida-Toronto series. There's a change of power in Florida right now.
Florida, Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Florida, Tampa Bay. Yeah. Florida, Tampa Bay. There's a change in power in Florida. And you could really see that this probably was the last gasp of a good Stanley Cup favorite out of the East Tampa Bay team.
I didn't expect them to be this good this year, so I think they overachieved.
Yeah.
I also didn't expect the Panthers to be this good this year as well.
Yeah, you would have expected a little bit of regression, but Vancouver somehow is getting it done without their starting goalie.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but Nashville, when they lose game 1 of a playoff series, is 0-13 in those series all time.
Yeah,
and they're 1 game away from being 0-14.
Yeah,
and they took out the goalie, bro. Come on, Nashville. What are you doing?
Not only the first goalie, but the second string goalie as well. Vancouver is down to their 3rd string goalie.
Yeah, I guess it's easy to say in hindsight, Nashville overachieved this year. Probably a year too early to get to the playoffs, but shit happens. But
who's their coach?
Andrew Burnett.
Yeah.
So
that guy's a good fucking coach.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be back next year. It's just kind of surprising that they had. I would say the goalie matchup was probably fairly even, maybe give the edge to Demko, but as soon as he went out, it was easily Saros. And here they are, 3-1, about to get knocked out. It should be 2-2 if they would have just held on to their 3-1 lead, and maybe someone hit their puck line bet if that was the case. But, fuck that.
I mean, I put in a leg of a parlay tonight that is UC Saros under 17.5 saves. That's what the line was, or I think under 24.5 saves was what the line was set at. He hasn't had more than 17 in a game. In fact, he's hit 17 3 times. The 3 of the 4 games, he's been at 17 saves. And I think the third game he had like 11 saves. You would figure for when a goalie's in a situation like that he's not giving up a lot of goals and he's making a low number of saves, you're not down 3-1 in the series.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So he's only facing like 15 shots, and the 4 of them are going through.
Yeah. I don't even think it's 4. I think it's like they're losing games like
this
3-2, 2-1.
This one's been a low scoring defensive game because every time I look to make a bet, I'm like, I should pick the under in that game.
Yeah.
The Leafs are doing their best to make tradition ring true. Currently down 3-1 in the series. And last I saw, still tied 1-1 for Game 5. Mm-hmm. They don't have the MVP candidate with Matthews tonight, which probably isn't the best moves, but not. It's kind of funny. You kind of feel a tad bit sad for the fans, but also not, because the fans are really annoying. But
how many Leafs fans do you know?
Personally, none.
So then you don't know any annoying fans.
They're all over the internet.
I don't run into these people. The Boston Bruins fans are far more annoying to me than Toronto Maple Leafs.
How many Boston Bruins fans do you know?
Me? 3.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's, tell you what, that's 3 too goddamn many.
Well, can't argue with that.
Look, you keep telling me that they're the Cowboys, and you live in a more hockey town, obviously, so I'll default to that. But I'm like, Cowboys fans are annoying. I've never heard a Maple Leafs fan in my life, but I'm not on blogs and stuff reading like how they think it's their year every year.
So Nevada, I have to actually burst your bubble. The one Toronto Maple Leafs fan you like. Tom Lingard is a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Oh, that sucks. Tell him I'm sorry.
Now, he's switched in recent years since college, and since I've known him. He grew up a Maple Leafs fan. He has since college in Raleigh, North Carolina, that's 2014, switched to being a Carolina Hurricanes fan.
He still lives there? Still resides there?
Well, he's in the Navy. He's currently defending the world's greatest Navy from daily welcome gifts from Yemen.
So he definitely doesn't live in Raleigh then.
Definitely doesn't live in Raleigh.
Yeah, so why did he switch to a Hurricanes fan?
I just think he was going to a lot of the games, and the Toronto Maple Leafs were his dad's team, and he kind of just said, well,
and they kept hurting him.
Yes, they kept hurting him.
I think that's maybe the PTSD has maybe convinced him that he doesn't need it like that in his life.
He was more strong-willed than Nick and I with the Rockies.
Well, the problem is we went to a lot of Rockies games as well. If you've never been to it, like, it's a lot harder to dislike a team or like to switch from another team if you've never been to that team stadium. I'm not sure Tom has ever been to Toronto to a Maple Leafs game, and I know he hasn't been consistently. But we were consistently going to Carolina Hurricanes games in college because tickets were like $5 for college students. That was back when they were ass water.
Yeah, and they're good now. You must be having a good ride. Although they won the President's Trophy and bowed out in the first 2 years ago, right?
No, they didn't win the President's Trophy, I don't think.
No.
I think they did bow out in the first. The first or the second.
They were like favorites and they choked, right? I'm pretty sure it was bad. Like, it was an embarrassing showing.
Yeah, they've done that for the last however long Brindamore's been at the head coach, last 5 years or something.
Yeah.
They do, and that's part of the issue is that they just didn't have that superstar forward to get them over the hump. So maybe they have it this year with that trade for Gensel, but we'll see. They're definitely kicking ass.
They were the runner-up to the President's Trophy last year. That might be what you were thinking of.
Maybe. And they got swept in the first round?
No, they lost in the second round.
I remember them. I thought I remember them sucking in the first round. Maybe I just think they suck. All right, who do you guys have winning the Stars versus Knights?
The series?
No home team has won yet.
Are you talking about the
series? The series.
Man, I mean, I'll take this right off the bat. First, it looked like the Golden Knights.
I thought it was a sweep. Thought it was a sweep, dude.
Yeah, I got pissed off because I was like, I started throwing stuff. I was like, of course, it's going to be doing long-term injured reserve.
Yeah.
And the Stars have fought back. I'm going to say the Stars. I mean, the Stars got sucker punched. They've managed to come back. If they can win one in Dallas and build that confidence, I'll take the Stars.
They have two opportunities at home, so it's a good bet.
Yeah, whoever wins tomorrow, I think they play tomorrow, is going to win the series. I think it's going to be the Stars. Obviously, going down 0-2 at home is a real kick in the dick. The goaltending is obviously on Dallas' side. And then those two games in Vegas, which were basically must-wins, I think that got them woken up and got the momentum on their side. Take that momentum home to play in Dallas for Game 5. I think Dallas can get it done and take care of the series.
Okay, so we got two Dallas votes. Next series is Colorado Avalanche versus the Winnipeg Jets. And first of all, I want to hear you both say an apology to the Colorado Avalanche because you both picked the Jets, you communist.
We did. Georgie finally snapped out of his rut. He'll get back into one, but for now, he's out of it. He's been doing that all year.
You're muted, Nick. I don't know what happened, brother. We can't hear you.
I will give no such apology. The second round has always been the Avs bugaboo.
Oh, here we go. Pick the Jets, said the Avs no have chance. We're so good. Ugh.
We're so bad. But yeah, no apology will be given.
That's how bad it was.
Yep. No apology will be given.
All right, so you guys got the Avs handling business and moving on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wins, Avs or Stars?
Stars. Well,
can't wait. Can't fucking wait, dude. You guys.
If I pick the Avs, never a doubt. I never had a doubt.
Never a doubt.
I'll actually say I'll go with the Avs. Well, they won't have home ice though. Fuck.
Just stick with the Stars. You know you're going to. All right, Canucks handle business versus the Preds, right?
Yeah.
Oilers handle business versus the Kings.
Yep.
Who do you got winning the Battle of Canada?
It's got to be Edmonton, right?
It's got to be Edmonton.
It's got to be.
And if it's not, then yikes. All right, so Edmonton versus Dallas.
Edmonton.
Dallas.
Oh, first differentiating.
Although I will say, if the Avs beat the Stars, the Oilers are scared of the Avs for some reason. The Oilers cannot. The Avs play a better Oilers game.
Who has the home ice in that?
Edmonton.
What Oilers?
For who?
Oilers, Avs. Oilers would have it, right?
It'd be close. I'd have to look.
All right. We're assuming the Maple Leafs. So who do you got between the Panthers and Bruins?
I still say the Bruins.
Panthers.
The Panthers look good right now.
Maybe this is the year the Panthers get past everybody. Panthers against everybody.
Panthers were in the Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah, I mean, luckily so.
My man got Kai. He was just like, all right, bet. Fine.
No, I knew they were in the Stanley Cup last year. They got lucky. They got hit by the President's Trophy curse. Got a little momentum. That's all you need in the playoffs. Boston crushes them
injured.
Boston crushes them in a revenge series.
Okay. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The Panthers will beat the Bruins.
Panthers in 5.
Panthers in 5. And when that happens, Knicks, never a doubt. Hurricanes, they're gonna beat the Islanders.
Yeah.
I wanted that New York matchup in the second round, but we're not gonna get it. So Hurricanes versus Rangers.
Fuck.
That's gonna be a good series.
I think the Hurricanes, you saw a little, they swept the Caps, but you saw little cracks in the game where they never shut the door on. It was not a domination series against the Caps.
Yeah, I'll go with the Rangers. I think obviously time off might help a little bit. Probably won't be too much time off compared to the Canes. But...
picking. Who said that?
Was that Kane?
It was, yeah.
It's because he still has his balls.
I'll give the Rangers one more round. I'll take them over the Canes.
All right, so you have Rangers, Panthers, Nevada. Who wins that?
Panthers.
All right, and you had
Bruins and Canes. Bruins.
Wow. Yeah. All right, so you had Bruins and Canes. You're going Bruins. So you had Bruins versus Oilers, Nick, in the finals.
Bruins.
And Nevada, you had
Dallas and Florida.
Too trendy.
And I'll go with Dallas.
Too trendy. Will never last.
Too trendy.
Go with the old faithful.
All right, Dallas it is. Let's get into NBA real quick. There's a bunch of series that wrapped up. So we have a second round matchup of the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. That looks like it's going to be an electric series with a lot of back and forths going on there. The Nuggets do have home court in that. The Thunder swept the Pelicans, are waiting for the winner of the Clippers-Mavericks series, which is currently tied at 2-2. This was a popular pick on the podcast to go 7. It seems like it's going to go that route. Who do you guys have winning between the Clippers and Mavs?
Who did I pick before? Clippers? Mavs? Whoever that pick was, I think it was the Clippers.
I think you picked the Clippers, yeah. Let's see. Nick, you had Nuggets, Suns, Thunder, Clippers, Knicks, Celtics, Cavs, Pacers.
Told you.
So Clippers in Nevada, you're going with Clippers, or
I'll go with the Mavs.
You go with the Mavs?
Yeah.
You just fading Nick right now?
It seems like it, yeah.
So I will say everyone talked about how good the Western Conference was this year, but in 3 series we had a combined total of 1 win from the other 3 teams. So there was 2 sweeps and 1 gentleman's sweep, which it just shows like the top of the Western Conference was the cream of the crop, and the rest was just kind of like not really that great.
By the way, one of my favorite terms in sports right there that you just mentioned, Jermaine, a gentleman's sweep.
It's like, yeah, we'll let you have that one.
Yeah, you get one. You get one.
You get one.
You get like the first or second game at home. We'll give you the first or second game at home. Give your fans some hope, and then we'll bury you back in our barn.
Dude, barn. I love how popular it's becoming now, because hockey's officially back, by the way.
Hockey is back, by the way.
Hockey and all it took was going to ESPN again. That's so funny, because ESPN got a little disrespectful with their coverage.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say gay that whole time.
I almost did.
It was on the tip of your tongue. You got a little.
I hit a little like, nah, don't say that. So Celtics Heat, it's 3-1. Pretty much everyone's out for the Heat, so we got the Celtics advancing. We got the Cavs.
Surprising though, I thought the Celtics would sweep that.
Me too. But they got hit with a historic 3-point shooting performance from the Miami Heat. And then Joe Mazzulla actually used X's and O's to win the next game, which was really crazy. He decided that the Heat don't have any ball handlers, so let's put them in situations where they have to handle the ball. And sure enough, the Miami Heat couldn't do it. Yeah. Cavs Magic going on right now. Series is currently tied 2-2. Cleveland is at home, and it's 23-19. Bucks Pacers. Bucks, same thing with the Heat. Everyone's out, so we'll just book the Pacers advancing with that 3-1. They've scored 120 points in 3 straight games.
Damn.
So, and right now the Knicks are up 6 on the 76ers, also up 3-1. Who do you guys got winning that series? Knicks,
yeah.
Yep.
So Knicks. So we end up with a Knicks Pacers second round, which is just so old school. I can't say how old school that is. You have Tyrese Halliburton versus Jalen Brunson. It's going to be a fascinating series, because the Knicks are like a slow them down, grind them up, defensive, we're going to just attack the boards type of team, and the Pacers are free flowing. And I'll tell you what, if the Pacers beat the Knicks again, with how egotistical the Knicks fan base is, I don't know if they could survive that.
We want Boston.
Oh, God, what's his name? Spike Lee.
Spike Lee, yeah. No, so Spike Lee, I don't really have a problem with Spike Lee, to be honest. But Knicks,
Stephen A.
Stephen A is fine. He's not even really that bad. But Knicks fans, like they were in Philly being like I forgot what happened. They disrespect what statue was it? Wilt Chamberlain statue. Like they just go around doing disrespectful things, and then they'll win one game in a series and they'll cut like WWE like promos after the win.
After game 1 of the 76ers, they started chanting, "We want Boston."
That's so like it's crazy.
So you've got 2 series to go until
if they end up losing to the Pacers again, where Reggie Miller's all-time iconic moment is like showing them that they're choking, right? Like I don't know if the Knicks can handle losing to the Pacers again.
Blow it up.
Because here's the thing: Indiana thinks they're the mecca of hoops, and New York thinks they're the mecca of hoops. So when these two franchises compete, I'm so excited. I'm disappointed because I was hyped for the Bucks Pacers series, but Giannis was hurt. Dame almost tore his Achilles.
I mean, Dame put in game 1 and said, "All right, I'll see myself out."
Dame was like,
"Now you'll see what I could do, right?"
Yeah. I'm tired though.
I'm tired now.
All right, who do you got winning between Knicks Pacers?
Oh man, just because I'm gonna pick Pacers just because.
I was just gonna say Knicks.
Oh, all right, there you go.
Just keep fading each other.
Cavs Magic. Who do you guys got?
Don't the Magic have like a if you I don't know what you call it in basketball, Jermaine, but like the Pythagorean win-loss equivalent of like points, where it's like, oh, here's like this should have gone in, like adjusted points or something. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I get. Yeah.
Don't the Magic have like a 17-point lead in adjusted points every game?
I haven't seen the stats, so I don't know. But that'd be his.
So I have a buddy who's a Magic fan, and I'm like, oh, dude, Magic came back, tied it up 2-2. He's like, yeah, we've had like a expected points per game of 17 over in every game, and we're just now winning. I think I'll take the Magic.
Okay,
come on, Nevada.
Sure.
Oh.
I mean, for me, this series is a coin flip. That's kind of how it's turned out so far, being 2-2. But sure,
it's been a fun series to watch,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
All right, so you both have Magic versus Celtics. Who do you got winning that?
Celtics.
The Orlando Celtics.
All right, so the Celtics versus Knicks for you, Nevada.
Celtics
versus Pacers for you.
Celtics.
Chalk. All right, so Thunder versus Clippers for you, Nick.
Thunder.
Thunder versus Mavericks, Nevada.
Thunder and Magic?
Mavericks.
Oh, Mavericks. Thunder.
Timberwolves versus Nugs. Who do you got winning that series? Are you guys excited to see the Timberwolves?
I'm so excited.
No.
I'm so as a Nuggets fan, I'm so excited. As a diehard Nuggets fan.
You're the drizzling shits.
I'm the worst Nuggets fan.
You're the worst. I hate it so much. You have the best, and he's white. He's perfect for you. He's white. Yeah. He's the best player in the NBA, the world. He's white. Like
he's like the complete white antithesis to LeBron, and Nick's like, eh.
Yeah, Nick could care less.
Because I feel the way the Nuggets, the same way that he feels about the Nuggets. We both don't care and just want to bet on horse racing. Am I Nikola Jokic?
That's why he's your spirit animal, dude. You should care more.
No, he doesn't. When he starts caring, I'll start caring.
Pretty sure him winning the playoffs is caring.
No, he did that so he can have a bigger brand for his horses.
All right, who do you got? Nuggets or T-Wolves?
Nuggets.
Nevada?
Yeah, I'll go with the Nuggies.
Nuggets or Thunder?
I'll change it up. I'll change up my pick from beginning. I'll say the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think the experience for the Nuggets will shine through a little bit more.
Nuggets versus Celtics. Who you got?
Ooh,
Nuggets in 4.
Hey, Nuggets in 4. Suck it, Boston. I hope Boston never wins.
I'll
dude.
take. Yeah, I mean, Boston always seems like, and maybe you can correct me on this, Jermaine, but it seems like Boston always gets like knocked down when they meet an experienced team.
Dog, they just don't adapt. They have no X's and O's, and if their game plan is not going, they're not going to change anything, and they're just going to lose by that game plan.
So there we go. I'll take Nuggets.
Jermaine, how do you see the rest of the NBA going?
Yeah, you tell us.
Tell us how wrong we are now.
Yeah,
I think the Denver Nuggets, based on how I saw them play against the Los Angeles Lakers, are missing some of their key contributors from last year's postseason run. And I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be able to dominate them in the paint in a way and fashion the Lakers couldn't, which is saying something crazy because the Lakers purely only score in the paint. And I think the emergence of Anthony Edwards is enough to take down the Denver Nuggets. And I think the Minnesota Timberwolves advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time. No, I don't know if KG got there.
he took him to I thought KG and Cassell went to a.
They went to one, I think. No, they didn't go. They never went to a finals. No, dude, because they were playing Shaq and Tim Duncan. Like they never made it. They never made it. So I have the Thunder beating the Clippers in the second round, and then I have the Thunder facing the Timberwolves for a chance to go to the NBA championship. And I have
they have been to the finals only once, or the conference finals once.
Yeah, with KG, right? Oh, yeah. 04?
03-04, yeah.
03-04, yeah. And so that Thunder T-Wolves series is going to be fascinating, and I think the Thunder get it done. I think the Thunder get it done and make the postseason, which is pretty in line with what I'm thinking. I don't care about their age. I don't see their age as a factor in the way they play these games. They handled it all.
Just like Josh Giddey, am I right?
We call him P. Giddey around these parts.
Oh, okay.
Giddey, that's good. That's good.
Because they don't play like a young team. It's crazy. I have the Cavs beating the Magic, unfortunately, as much as I would love to see the Magic advance. But either way, they're both getting their ass whooped by Boston. And then that New York-Indiana series is fascinating to me. I don't know if New York has enough scoring, but can I fade New York again, even though after I faded them with the Sixers let me down? I mean, obviously, Sixers aren't healthy. Stop me if you've heard that before. And first of all, the Sixers should probably have like a 3-1 series lead, but the refs decided to switch that up. So I think I'm going to go with the Indiana Pacers overachieving here. Pascal Siakam has jumped his points per game total from 20 points to 30 points. It's a 10 points per game difference in the postseason. Fucking insane. That's the guy they traded for at the trade deadline for a reason. This Indiana Pacers team hasn't even seen peak Tyrese Halliburton yet. He seems to be still injured from his early season injury. But if he can start turning up his scoring, which they're already scoring 120, and they're about a 10-man deep team, I see the Pacers probably putting it on the Knicks and winning. We'll see. It's classic defense versus offensive style. But I'm going to go with the Pacers to win that series. And I have the Pacers against the Celtics, and a part of me thinks that goes 7. If the Pacers play the Celtics, I think that goes 7. And if the Knicks play the Celtics, I think that goes 7, and I might pick the Knicks. But I'm gonna say the Pacers lose to the Celtics, and you get a Celtics Thunder NBA Finals, and I'm gonna go with the Thunder to beat the Celtics.
Ooh.
I don't trust this Celtics team. Now, this Celtics team is going to have to prove it to me that they can actually win. Let's get into the NFL draft. Let's get into the NFL draft. I just realized what time it is on the recording.
Chatty Cathy's.
A bunch of long-winded bastards. All right, who do you think had the best draft class?
Nevada or I? Go Nevada.
In honor of the other EP, I'll go with the Eagles. I think they, at least as far as the top of the draft, I think they did very well there. So I'll go with the Eagles.
They drafted my guy, dude.
The Eagles.
I've been gassing up Quinyon Mitchell all offseason. Of course, Howie Roseman gets him without trading up. Fucking bastard, dude.
I will go with. I'll go with the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans. J.C. Latham, offensive tackle. Obviously, they wanted Joe Alt in that position. He wasn't there. He got drafted earlier. They didn't panic. They didn't switch from their plan. J.C. Latham is a great pick. I think they addressed all 5 needs that they had coming into the draft. If you look at ESPN, the Titans' needs were offensive tackle, defensive tackle. They got those in their first 2 picks. Tavondre Sweat, I think a lot of people are giving him flack, are giving the Titans flack for taking him there. I like the pick. He's a fucking space eater in the middle. I mean, 6'5", 366. The dude just eats blockers. Safety, linebacker, wide receiver. I think they addressed all the needs. And I think in a good way, Tennessee did.
Oh, that's funny. That you'll understand why I said that's funny later on in the pod. But for best draft class for me, I'm taking. First of all, fuck the Ravens. I'm sick and tired of picking you, so I'm not picking you anymore. Fuck you.
Although I wanted to.
Eric DaCosta, stop following in Ozzy's fucking footsteps. Why are you both so fucking good at reading draft boards? Like it's like they have some sort of voodoo dolls for the rest of the GMs to just do stupid shit. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams, bro. I don't know why they were trading first-round picks because this fucking GM can draft his ass off. They got Jared Verse in the first round. The 15 offensive player run pushed all the best defensive talent to the back of the draft to playoff teams who already have good offenses. That's how they got to the fucking playoffs. So it's really crazy to see the rich get richer from that viewpoint. So Jared Verse coming off the board at pick 19 when he was mocked regularly, right? Some people said that they could even see the Atlanta Falcons taking him. And they got him at pick 19. Then they followed up by getting Braden Fisk in the second round, who is a fantastic defensive tackle, right? And they had to fill the defensive tackle position because one, Aaron Bartholomew Donald, the 13th, retired this offseason. And so they went and got 2 dudes who played in an undefeated ball club on a defense that terrorized the ACC. They got both players from that front, and they plugged them right in next to Byron Young and Turner from their draft class from last year. They have a crazy front 4 now. I thought they plugged holes. Then they follow up. Kyron Williams gets hurt. They were scrambling for running back depth. For some reason, nobody wanted to draft running backs. Looking at you stupid Cowboys. And Blake Corum comes off the board in the 3rd round to back up Kyron Williams. Now, am I thrilled about that? No, because I have him in a dynasty league, but neither here nor there. They follow up.
And they just signed Boston Scott, by the way.
God, Boston Scott is the bane of my existence. Ask Eric about how much I hate Boston Scott. Cameron Kitchens, safety out of Miami, fantastic. They got Jordan Whittington in the 6th, a 4-year wide receiver out of Texas. I think that's perfect depth for them to add behind Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. They added offensive lineman at the 7th round. Brennan Jackson out of Washington State is an interesting edge rusher. Like Tyler Davis fell to them in the 5th. There isn't a single bad pick on this to me. So I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams.
All right. Who had the worst draft class?
I'll go first. Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans. I did not like their draft from the perspective of they just drafted a right tackle, right guard last year, and they followed up by drafting a right tackle, right guard this year. That isn't even the most important side of the offensive line. Can J.C. Latham transition to the left side of the line, or are they going to transition who they just plugged in at the right last year? It was Ben Skoronski.
Yeah.
That was the tackle they took last year. So while I think J.C. Latham is a good player, I don't understand the fit necessarily along their offensive line. Now, T'Vondre Sweat, great pick, but there was better defensive tackles on the board. I had to remove my bias from it because I love T'Vondre Sweat, but I think they reached far too high for him, especially when Newton was on the board, who I think went the pick after him. T'Vondre Sweat, there's concerns that he doesn't profile as a 3-down defensive tackle because he doesn't provide it. He's inconsistent as far as his pass rush skill goes, but we have seen him dominate when he's next to another awesome defensive tackle, a la Byron Murphy II. So they do have Isaiah Simmons there. That fit can present itself differently. But if I'm going from a perspective of that, I was just concerned with those picks as far as fit goes. They're talented players. That's not what I'm saying. It's just as far as immediately fit and need, I was concerned. It's also between the Titans and the Vikings. That was who I was concerned with. The Vikings traded their second, third, and fourth round picks next year to get 2 first-round picks in this draft and move up both times. They lost a lot of capital from next year's draft to draft this year. And if those players don't hit and you're not in a win now mode, how does that help a rookie quarterback in year 2? And then also I do want to say Cedric Gray in the 4th round for the Tennessee Titans was fantastic. But I just from a concern standpoint, I didn't think they did enough. And also Treylon Burks hasn't hit. DeAndre Hopkins is 30-something years old. This is one of the deepest wide receiver classes in football, and you don't come away with a better wide receiver than Jaquan Jackson out of Tulane in the 6th. I was disappointed because I thought they had a great offseason. And J.C. Latham could prove me wrong, but it just depends like what side of the line is he going to play? Because if you drafted another right tackle in the top 10, it seems concerning. But sorry, go ahead. Nick, you're muted.
And he doesn't project as a left tackle, which I think is what they needed. But so maybe I might be walking it back on Tennessee having the best draft. You've convinced me. That's why when you said it, I was like, oh, this is going.
This is just a Fade Nick episode.
Yeah. It's that time of the month. He'll get it back. He's about to start hitting home run props like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
we'll see, man. Yeah, I'm about to pull a Colorado Rockies and go on a hot run through June and July.
All right, Nick, what's your worst draft class?
Miami Dolphins. If you look at the top 5 needs for the Dolphins, I think DT and tight end for the Dolphins are their DT, tight end, and OT are their top three needs. Chop Robinson is a great pick for the point that for the pick, but when you already have Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb starting at edge rusher when you're at full strength, you kind of just drafted a guy at 21 to not start at a good pick when you had immediate needs. I think Patrick Paul is a huge tackle coming out of Houston. I just don't know that he's
immediate impact.
That he's really the immediate impact, right? I think Jalen Wright, their 4th round pick running back, Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert are above him and are better running backs than him.
Jeff Wilson's also there still too.
Jeff. Yeah, thank you for reminding me about my dynasty team. I think if they wanted to pick a wide receiver, I think Malik Washington and Tajay Washington Malik Washington is probably the better pick of there. I don't understand the 7th round pick on Tajay Washington. Jordan Poyer is there at safety. So I don't really understand the 6th round pick of Patrick Morris. I just don't understand. It comes to a point where it seems like Miami's draft was just pick the best player available. And on their, they had NFL's big board. And when it came to their pick, they're like, that's the best guy available. And they picked him. And then it's like, you get to after the draft and you go, well, what needs did they address? They addressed almost none of their pressing needs for a team that lost a lot in the offseason and didn't replace it. Replaced it with depth at positions we already knew they were good at.
Yeah, that was the issue. I like the pick, to be honest, because they lost their center. Their tackle Teron Armstead doesn't stay healthy. They had to cut Connor Williams, who was their center, right? And they didn't replace the center. I'm like, I don't know if you know this, but the center is kind of important. He's the one who gets the football to the quarterback. Like, who are you playing there? Chop Robinson is probably going to be great, but not this year.
Right.
And I guess maybe if you looked at it from the perspective that Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are perennially hurt, which, stop me if you heard this, they're usually hurt. Maybe that's why you went Chop Robinson, and he fell so far down the draft board you couldn't pass him. But I kind of get where you're coming from that perspective. So I definitely like the pick. Also, two wide receivers. Like, yo, you already have every running back under the sun. You couldn't get a tight end. You guys are just allergic to drafting a tight end. Like,
it just feels like a waste of 3 of your 7 picks to take a running back and 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, I do like the Colorado State kid. Remember when I was watching CSU games, Nevada, I kept being like, "Who's this Kamara kid?"
Yeah.
And then so they got him. He's probably got to develop a little bit. So I don't know the immediate impact again for a team that feels like they should be drafting to compete, vice drafting for the future. So I like the pick. Nevada, who do you have for best, for worst?
I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit and say the Falcons. It largely revolves around the 8th pick, which we all know was Michael Penix Jr. You could argue, why do we draft a quarterback at 8 if we just signed essentially our bridge guy for the next 4 years? Granted, it's really more so a 2-year contract. But still, Penix, you can give him all the accolades you want. You can take off the injury-prone tag from him. But this was also a guy that was in an offense that had 2 tackles go in this draft, 3 wide receivers in this draft, and 2 of those players were first-round picks. They addressed a lot of defensive line stuff, but they didn't do anything else offensively. So Kirk Cousins is looking at what he's got for an offense. Going into the draft,
which is not too shabby, by the way.
It's not bad.
They have a good offensive line, too.
They could have done better.
For sure. We are agreeing.
Yeah. They could have not drafted a quarterback with the 8th pick.
Their biggest issue, especially at the 8th pick, was that the 2 needs they really needed on defense were edge and corner. They had the pick of the litter as far as who they wanted for defense. They could have gotten Jared Verse. They could have traded down for Latu. They could have gone with Quinyon Mitchell. Anybody. Instead, they got rid of Jeff Okudah. Their starting corners are D. Alford and Clark Phillips III. They don't have any edge rush. They got rid of, they haven't re-signed Bud Dupree and Calais Campbell. I mean, you're still free agents at this point. It's probably not looking too good. And they could have filled a need there as well. So using the 8th overall pick for a team that doesn't need a quarterback now, and they had glaring needs at defensive end and cornerback, and they had the best defensive end and the best cornerback available, and they skip over both for a position that they don't need right now. It's kind of mind-blowing.
This not to jump in on and crush the Falcons, but I fucking love doing it, so I'm going to do it. So the offseason said we're going to compete now. We're trying to win the NFC South and potentially make some noise in the playoffs. The draft said we're not ready to compete now. We're not ready to win the division, and we're going to draft for the future, right? So Braylon Trice and Rook or Horo. I probably should. I don't know how to. It's like Horo.
Or Horo.
Horo. Yeah, that's
Ruke O.
yeah. It's a fun name. So once I learn it, it's gonna be fun to say. But
Scooby Doo.
He is another development pick that's not ready to impact right away. So he's gonna have to learn on the fly because he's gonna be filling obviously a spot of need. But he was taken above the Newton from Illinois, which I'm like, why? That dude was just as good. You don't have to develop. Like, I don't understand. Braylon Trice the same thing, edge rushers. So they went defense the next 3 picks to fill that front 7, front 4. I mean, but none of them really feel like they're going to be day one starters, right? They will probably be starters in 2 to 3 years, but it's just confusing. And then in a wide receiver heavy draft, you wait till the 6th again. Like you wait till the 6th to take Casey Washington. Like why?
Right. You could have had Odunze if you wanted.
It's like
second round was full of wide receivers.
So in my humble opinion, to me, this is the best draft because the Atlanta Falcons suck. But I agree. It is a very bad draft.
All right. Jermaine, who you got as the best landing spot?
Best landing spot? Man. I'm going best landing spot. I'm gonna go with I gotta find it real quick. I'm going with Sanat. I think he's the 53rd pick in the 2nd round.
Oh yeah, Ben Sanat.
Ben Sanat, tight end, Kansas State, going to the Washington football team. Washington Commanders. First of all, I think he was the 2nd best tight end in this draft behind obviously Brock Bowers. I think he can do everything from blocking to lining up at fullback to catching out in the field, run after the catch. Like, I think he's a fantastic tight end. And this dude has the ability to come in and play right away for a team that doesn't have anyone. They got rid of old-ass Logan Thomas and replaced him with old-ass Zach Ertz. So Ben Sanat, I think, has the ability to get on the fields early, maybe not year 1 because tight ends don't typically play year 1, but year 2, Ben Sanat might be a name that everyone's going to be like, oh, shit, he's a pretty freaking good tight end. I actually wanted him to go to the Kansas City Chiefs and learn under Travis Kelce, but nobody actually wants that. All right.
The league doesn't want that.
Yeah.
Nicholas?
I'm going to go with renamed our Jackie Robinson, the Great White Hope, Cooper DeJean. DeJean, as they say there in Philadelphia. I mean, dude, he's going to the secondary factory. He's going to the factory that makes great secondary players, whether that's coaching, whether that's the people he's around. I think he was supposed to be a guy that was picked in the 1st round, right? We were talking about him maybe mid-1st round. The Eagles snagged him with the 40th pick. I think it's a great pick and a great fit for the team.
He was widely mocked to the Eagles in the 1st round.
Yeah.
That's what's so funny about it, dude. Like, fuck the Eagles, bro. Howie Roseman's a cunt. Did you see that he traded a 4th round pick for a 3rd round pick next year?
Yeah.
Fucking wizard, dude.
Incredible.
Yeah. I don't know how he keeps getting away with it.
How does he keep getting away with
it? It's not fair. My best fit, I'm going to go with, maybe just because I have a little bit of a hard on for him, but I'm going to go with Rome Odunze, the Washington wide receiver going to Chicago. Obviously, he gets to get paired with Caleb Williams, but he's in an offense that has DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. So you're not going to have to worry about that rookie to rookie connection and him getting completely smothered by, DB Cooper. I liked Odunze coming out, and for him to go to what everybody considers easily the best quarterback in the draft, and supposedly the next Mahomes. I don't think he can really beat that for the fit he goes to.
No arguments here. Yeah, I think that I think that he's also not going to have any pressure to perform right out of the gate. Maybe that's not good for development. Maybe it is, but I mean, he's just going to get there and be able to do his work and work around guys like DJ Moore and Keenan Allen that have slept to 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then you get to cut Keenan next year and not pay him. So it's
Right.
like, and you cut Keenan and you have Rome and DJ. So I think it's a great pick. I mean, although it's pretty hard to mess up a top 10 pick.
yeah. Wait, hold on.
Who got the worst landing spot?
I'll start.
Go ahead.
I mean, maybe worst landing spot, maybe worst pick. Bo Nix to the Denver Broncos. I mean, Nevada, and I ask you as the representative of the franchise, when are you guys going to learn the lesson that just because he's tall, white, dreamy, and handsome doesn't mean he can play good quarterback for the Denver Broncos?
You already traded a 7th for that guy.
Right. Yeah, you have Zach Wilson on your roster already.
Tall, white, dreamy, and handsome.
Right.
So I will try to defend it a little bit. I understand the hate behind it. I'm not a huge Bo Nix guy, especially at 12. But the reports from the Broncos were that their board, they had him as the 3rd best quarterback. Take it or leave it. That's what they claim. I totally understand the idea of, trade back into the late 1st or early 2nd to get him. But everybody seems to forget that you have to have somebody to trade up with you in order for you to trade back. So it's easy to say, why didn't they just trade back and then they could still get him at, 29 or whatever? You still need those people to give up the capital to move up to 12. And I don't think anybody was concerned about, the Broncos are going to take, I don't know, Quinyon Mitchell at 12. They need a quarterback. They're going to stick there and take a quarterback. He's very accurate. Sean Payton loves very accurate quarterbacks. Apparently in the meeting, I wouldn't say he made Sean Payton giggly, but that's kind of where Sean Payton fell in love with him. So I get the hate at 12. I don't like it at 12 either. But just thinking through it, if that's their guy, that's your guy. If you could trade back, great. But again, you got to have that dancing partner to go back.
Well, my hate wasn't with picking him at 12. My hate was picking him in general.
So any team he would go to, you would hate.
No, to the Denver Broncos. I think he's going to be a mediocre quarterback wherever he's gone, just like he's proved in college.
That's probably accurate, yeah.
But for Denver to continue drafting mediocre tall white quarterbacks is simply amazing.
Well, I mean, we can go on and on about it, but I'm not gonna keep beating a dead horse.
So we're going with worst landing spot, right?
Yes.
I'm going with Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver, Indianapolis.
Ooh.
Do you think that Adonai Mitchell probably was the worst landing spot? A lot of teams viewed him as not a good wide receiver. Why he fell down draft boards?
Man, it's impossible to say why he fell down draft boards. Could have been medical, could have been interviews, could have been personality, could have been anything, right? There's also some analytics didn't really enforce that he was that great a wide receiver, but his combine was also spectacular, right? Yeah. So if you are any good at your job as what they call a coach, then you would be able to coach him.
I don't understand about the combine. So bad combine performances knock players, but great combine performances don't elevate players.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand, right? To see like Jalen Polk was drafted 37th overall. Granted, it's New England Patriots. They fucking miss on wide receivers all the time. They don't know how to draft wide receivers. I was going to pick him and Javonte Baker because they both got drafted by then. But it was just like he fell outside of the top 50. And it was like, and what was he? Was he the 10th wide receiver taken? No, he was the 11th wide receiver taken.
Yeah, ranked 6 to begin ranked 6 by ESPN.
And it's like he's definitely not the 11th worst.
Yeah.
My thing for the landing spot is I don't know if Anthony Richardson can support 2 wide receivers like that, right? So the hype and potential that we kind of saw for Adonai Mitchell, like his best case scenario, his ceiling has kind of been cut out from underneath him because Michael Pittman exists there, Josh Downs exists there. And then I think the Indianapolis Colts also drafted another wide receiver in this draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see.
Yeah, they doubled down and took Anthony Golden the 5th, who's also a pretty fucking good wide receiver. Yep. So it's like, okay, so if all the red flags of Adonai Mitchell are true, this is the worst case scenario for those red flags. So I just did not like the landing spot from that perspective. I think the Colts got great value. I'm not excited to see him with a running quarterback. And also, I'm not excited to see him with a running quarterback with Jonathan Taylor in the goddamn backfield. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, also, this is a team who loves to throw to the tight end. They prioritize using their tight end a ton. Now, they didn't draft a tight end, so it's not like they have a good one on the roster. But, yeah, it's pretty bonkers, man. It's pretty bonkers. I was just not thrilled about that landing spot. So, Nevada?
The landing spot I'm not thrilled about. Again, love the player, not thrilled about the landing spot. I'm going to go with Brock Bowers to the Raiders.
Especially Michael Mayer there.
Yeah.
Your first-round draft pick last year.
No, second, 34th or 35th. So basically a first.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the Raiders have transitioned their offense from sub 4-4 wide receivers to double-lettered tight ends with Michael Myers and Brock Bowers. But I mean, again, Bowers is a good prospect. We'll see how it turns out because typically tight ends drafted in the first round don't pan out that well. But everybody seems to be in agreement that Bowers is different and special. Which I can totally agree with. But, you know, for a Raiders team that has a lot of areas to fill out, not as bad to the extent that the Falcons did, why do you take a tight end? This isn't like a luxury pick where it's like, our roster's good, we can take a luxury pick with a top-tier guy in Bowers. Obviously, they still have major quarterback issues. They're going to start with Minshew and I can't remember the backup.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yes, thank you. So I'm sure he'll still get his touches and stuff like that, but does he make your team better? Not enough, I don't think. Where they could have used it for other position needs.
It's a worst case scenario, best player available. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he was the best player available. Actually, no, that's not even true. I can't even say that.
No,
because there was every defensive player was still.
I would say best. You could argue maybe best offensive player, or at least best offensive skill player. For
sure, I really don't. It's
like the Raiders could have done so much more. They could have gotten Cooper DeJean. They could have gotten Quinyon Mitchell, something like that, to really help solidify either side of the offense. But instead, you're going to go with the tight end.
Yeah, I think right to Jermaine's point, I think all those quarterbacks going off, all those offensive tackles going off, I think the Raiders were just kind of like, best player available. And they jumped because they're like, Brock Bowers. And then they probably had buyer's remorse looking at that afterwards to say, we probably should have waited, traded out of the pick, just like you said, because maybe the quarterback isn't there.
Right?
To trade back and select a later offensive lineman or somebody else because you didn't get your guy and you didn't want to mortgage your future to move up to get your guy.
Right. So, I mean, just being in the same division, I can only imagine the terror it would be to have Max Crosby coming off the edge and your quarterback panic and throwing to like Quinyon Mitchell's side. I mean, that sounds scary.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers in the middle. Okay. Scary, but not that scary.
Or double down on what you just said. Max Crosby coming off the middle and somebody else coming off the other side. Every single edge rusher is available.
Every defensive player was available. That's what was crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe not tight end.
But the Raiders will Raider. So
yeah.
I was like, you want a skill position there, take a wide receiver then.
Right.
Devontae Adams is 30 years old. He's been asking for a trade. You know what I mean? Give him one. Get picks. Get your quarterback next year. Like, I don't know, man. All right, let's go quick with these. Let's do best third round value. Nick.
Oh, excuse me. Peyton Wilson of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wilson's a guy that we were talking mid-second round type talent. I honestly thought Carolina had 2 picks in the second round. I thought Carolina was going to pick him, right? He's from your home state. He reminds Dan Morgan said before the draft, I want dogs, blah, 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 blah. This dude literally only cares about football. He doesn't give a shit about anything else. He wants to get better at football. Apparently there's injury concerns from high school, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have an ACL.
I watched him 4 years in college. He'll be fine. If that's him playing with no ACL, he'll be fine.
And that was my other thing. It was like, okay, like shelf life of most of these players is 4 years, right?
Yeah.
I think average is 3.5. Yeah.
Like 3.5, 4 years. Okay. Worst case scenario, third round, you got a 4-year linebacker. Like injury concerns be damned. I'm going to go in that same round, obviously, because we're doing third. I don't know why I said that. Dwayne Carter, defensive tackle out of Duke to Buffalo. Buffalo hemorrhaged talent all over the field, and their front four needed some help. And for them to get Dwayne Carter in the third, so it almost makes them bungling not draft, or it wasn't that they didn't draft Xavier Worthy, it's that they traded Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs, right? So they recouped an extra third round pick from those 2 trade downs, and they ended up getting Dwayne Carter. So I thought that actually kind of helped them win that. I thought that was a great pick. Nevada?
I'm going to go with probably guard, but offensive lineman Cooper Beebe from K-State going to Dallas.
Yeah, so he is a guard, but Dallas needs to replace Tyler Bidiasi, who's the center who just left. So I would not be surprised if he actually makes the transition to center.
Very good. Second round value.
Second round, I'm gonna go with a homer pick here, boys. Kool-Aid McKinstry at pick 41.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
Look, first round talent, cornerback. Everyone says that he is a bit slow, and maybe that's why he fell, but he's a first round grade. You got him at pick 41. Yeah, I'm upset that we traded up again because that's all we fucking do in these drafts. 25 straight trade ups since trading back once. So, like, the last time we traded back, we have traded up 25 times in a draft.
Jeez.
So I'm just sick of it. That's why we never have any picks. But hey, we got Kool-Aid, and I'm all right with that. Nick?
I already mentioned Cooper DeJean. So I'm going to say my guy coming in, Jackson Powers Johnson. I mean, for this guy who is projected to be a late first-round pick that we were talking about, right? Maybe Pittsburgh was going to come in and get him at 20. For him to be drafted halfway through the second, I think is a major steal for Las Vegas. And whereas they had that reach for Brock Bowers, I think they nailed this pick with Jackson Powers Johnson. After so many teams passed on it.
I was shocked to see him fall that far. When he was selected, I was standing there at the draft like, he's still on the fucking board?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was the same thing. Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Then so we'll hop into the first round. I'll go first here again, and I'm going to go with I don't really – if someone else has a pick, they can go first.
For first round?
Yeah.
We'll talk about edge rush, or we'll talk about defensive players being left off the board. We're talking about Dallas Turner to the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota trading up to get a guy like Dallas Turner, who was supposed to be a top 10, a single-digit pick, and they got him at 17. That's incredible. Not even the first edge rusher off the board. You choose a guy before Dallas Turner who has lost his ACL twice. Are you serious? Now, I think Latu is a good edge rusher. But Dallas Turner was, we would all agree, us three would all agree, Dallas Turner was the best edge rusher and probably the best defensive player in the draft who fell to 17.
Yeah, Latu had that neck problem that retired him too. So I thought that was pretty crazy. Also, Nevada, my fault. What was your second round value?
I'm going to go with Edrin Cooper, the edge linebacker, going to Green Bay.
That's a great fucking choice. I can't believe linebackers and running backs. You got to be like 90s and 2000 football. You would get paid out the ass for those positions. Now in the space and play era, you can't find a fucking bag of money. It's crazy. That dude went in the second. He was the first linebacker off the board. I think he was picked. What pick was he? 50 what? 50 what? 50 what? Here, I got it.
50 or was he 40?
45.
Yeah.
Basically 50.
Yeah.
And Nevada, what was your first round?
Man, I'll go with, just in case I take yours, Jermaine, I'm going to go with Terrion Arnold going to Detroit. DB from Bama.
I hear you.
I think he's a fire corner, but I did think he was right to come off second.
No, I agree. I just think for the value that you get and the system he's going to with the coach, I think he'll be a fantastic fit.
They couldn't stop the pass, and they added him and Rakestraw Jr. in the second. I was like, God damn, Detroit. Is it because you hosted it that people let you get what you needed? It doesn't seem right.
It was a welcome gift.
I'm going to go. I mean, I could really go anywhere here. Obviously, Jermaine. I love the Steelers.
Well, nope. There's two places you can't go.
That's true.
Two players you can't pick.
I love the Steelers pick at 20, but that's not where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with pick 28, Xavier Worthy, or I'm going to call him 421 Worthy. 421 Worthy to the Kansas City Chiefs. Everyone is discussing this kid at ceiling, right? And it's always Tyreek Hill, and I don't quite see that. Like Tyreek Hill is ridiculous. I do think Xavier Worthy runs better routes than people give him credit for, because I think all they talk about is speed when they talk about him. I watched him for 3 years. He dominated as a true freshman, which you do not see, especially not at the level that Texas plays at. I just think he went to a great landing spot. I think you got him at pick 28. I thought because of his speed, you always see speed get overdrafted, right? But to get him at pick 28, I thought it was pretty crazy. And they traded up to get him, and he's filling a need. So my comps personally, like I know everyone wants to say Tyreek Hill, but I think more Deshaun Jackson, more Will Fuller type of ball player. But that limits him to just deep ball, right? Deep ball game. So I'm excited to see what he does.
I would like to submit Jermaine, I think you mentioned him a couple times, but Quinyon Mitchell, especially going to Philly and dropping as far as he did, he arguably could have been top 10, but to fall as far as he did for the best corner is crazy.
Yeah, I've been talking about him since January, so I was like, let me pick someone else, and I want to get I shit on Adonai, so let me get some Texas love, and so. The bias in me came out. Do you guys got anything else for the draft?
The only thing I had was QB needed teams are going to bypass on any talent there is just to take a quarterback. And because of that, you lose that second tier of quarterbacks. Penix, Bo Nix, and probably you could argue maybe J.J. McCarthy, kind of those second tier guys. After Bo Nix at 12, the next quarterback was Spencer Rattler at round 5, pick 150.
137. That's how many picks in between.
Usually, you get last year there was Levis in the second round, Hooker in the third round, a couple fourths, and then a bunch of fifths. Just a desert wasteland for this draft. It's clearly showing that teams are freaking out if they do not have a quarterback, and they are going to massively overvalue quarterbacks to hope that they hit on one.
Well, hell, one team just gave a quarterback $180 million and an 8th round pick to that position. Right? Can only start one. Only start one. I was like, if you thought this highly of Penix, which is not an issue, why spend $180 million?
100 of it, which is guaranteed. You ain't getting that back. Last I checked.
Yeah, bro. Like,
I think if anything, that to me that signals this Kirk deal is 2 years and he's done. They're moving on to Penix, which they kind of have to, otherwise it's a completely wasted pick. But all the money is done and guaranteed after 2 years, so they can cut him and be done with it and move on.
Also, let's look at it from the flip side. You brought this guy in to be a leader and to inspire this offense of young guys who have so far not had any inspiration from a guy that's kind of been there and done that in the NFL.
Except for primetime.
Except for primetime, right? That's why they got Penix, because he'll play the primetime games. Kirk Cousins will play the day games.
Smart. Okay.
But
shit, you Falcons going undefeated.
You brought Cousins in to be this leader of these young guys. You told him you were going to take a quarterback. And again, Jermaine, this goes back to what do we always say? If you're going to make a dumbass decision as an organization, at least run it past your star players first. And they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. He was told right before he saw it on TV that they were taking Michael Penix.
Yeah, when they were on the clock, they called him. But they did tell him weeks before that they were going to take a quarterback in the second round. Now, the 8th overall is not the second round.
So, that value is a little different.
Yeah. My thing is like, I feel bad for Michael Penix because you don't want to get drafted to not play, right? And he's definitely not playing unless some catastrophic shenanigans goes down, which could happen. 35-year-old with an Achilles tear on his plant foot. Maybe he sucks at football.
Yeah.
According to the GM, Penix isn't playing for 4 to 5 more years.
Well, he said if Penix doesn't play for 4 to 5 years, that's a good thing. That means that Kirk Cousins is balling for them. But it's stupid because either way, I don't know why I'm trying to defend it. It's stupid.
There's no way to defend it because even the Falcons can't defend it.
Yeah. So one thing I will say is the offensive line play that we have been crushing on this podcast for years now should get a lot better. There was a lot of landing spots, a lot of great 5th, 6th, 7th round guys that I think can even fill starter or depth positions. And also what we're kind of seeing right now is the rise of defensive tackles. Right? Defensive coordinators are understanding that we can't just disrupt from the outside, that we have to disrupt from the inside of the pocket as well. And defensive tackles are starting to rise on draft boards and they're starting to reach on them for that position, which with the demise of the defensive tackle comes a devalue of linebackers. So you're kind of seeing how, this space and play era of the NFL, right, where they're trying to get as much speed on the field, they're trying to space it out as much as possible. They're running more 3-wide sets. You're seeing that kind of take precedence and it's devaluing certain positions, right? So wide receivers that can make plays downfield are now valued higher. Running backs who first of all, are super needy, like you need a good running back, are being devalued for whatever reason. Same thing with linebackers. Safeties, I know it wasn't that great a safety class, but safeties are being devalued on the open market and in draft classes. So it's just interesting to see how it goes. And also, what I'm shocked to see is with all the change in values that GMs are seeing from positions, right? Like why tight end isn't being more valued.
I think GMs know they can develop tight ends, right? You look at the Kittles, you look at the Kelseys. A lot of those guys weren't high tight ends coming out of college, They know tight end is a much more development-based position.
Yeah, but they're drafting blocking tight ends before pass catching tight ends.
Yeah, true.
Turn the tight end
who's
into
who's your boy from Texas, Sanders?
Yo, he went. Hey, the Panthers got one though, bro. Hey, first of all, if you have him fucking blocking, I will fucking write a salacious ass email.
What's
That's
up,
so
my guy?
stupid, bro. Also,
What's
what
up,
are you?
brother?
How's the Carolina Longhorns feel?
Dude, I'm excited. For once in a while, I got to tell Carolina Panthers fans to shove it up their ass on the message boards because they were pissed. They said we need this and we need that. I don't necessarily love. I like you pay Miles Sanders a lot of money. He didn't pan out. Chuba is Chuba. He's never good as a starting back. Get the best running back available. If he's the best, if you're shifting to offense, go all the way in. Now, I think we may have to score 45 points a game because we're going to give up 44, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think look, dude. I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna say what we're not supposed to say out loud. I think Bryce Young's gonna have a good year.
We can't be worse than last year.
It can't be worse.
I think Deontay Johnson, Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks, Jatavion Sanders. They got lineman help. Like, I think the Panthers. It should be interesting. If Bryce Young sucks this year, then that just means he sucks, and then you're gonna be drafting another quarterback.
Yeah. I'm really upset that Carolina had the chance to do one of the funniest things ever and take the Los Angeles Rams 2 first-round picks until 2026 for Brian Burns, but we didn't end up doing it, unfortunately.
Nevada, thoughts on the Broncos draft class?
I think it was actually pretty good once you take a step back. Their first, I want to say 4 picks, if I remember right. Obviously, Knicks is up there, but their next few picks on a lot of people's boards were actually top 100 guys that they got well over 100. Like Troy Franklin, the wide receiver from Oregon, obviously get that instant chemistry in the 4th round.
Great.
At 10, I think he was like 104 or something like that. He was ranked number 44. So you're getting him 2 rounds after the expected value for him. But
I mean, shit, he was a wild card we thought could have gone the end of round 1.
Yeah, he should have been a round 2 guy, but just some I guess for some scouts, they're just concerned that maybe he's just a one-trick pony where it's just going to be 9 routes and posts and stuff like that, which
Tyreek Hill made a career of it.
Yeah. I mean, there's other players to throw to, but I'm not upset. I'm not thrilled either with Knicks, but whatever. I mean, as a Broncos fan, I am happy that we actually took a step forward and drafted a quarterback in the 1st round towards the top instead of kept doing this bullshit Band-Aid fix where we sign the veteran for a year or 2 and say, this is going to be our guy. This is going to be our guy. Stop it. Rip the Band-Aid off. Start over. Either he's your quarterback or he's not. Move on. Enough with we'll trade or we'll sign our franchise quarterback. It doesn't happen.
Peyton Manning.
It happened once.
Jermaine, thoughts on the Saints?
Everyone keeps gassing it up, and I don't know if I realize I don't know if I see the same thing that they see.
Do you just see it because they have to play under Dennis Allen?
I think Dennis Allen's a fantastic defensive coordinator. I just think Derek Carr is still our quarterback. You know what I mean? And so it all depends on if our offensive coordinator actually changes our offense. If he does that, then that's fine. But we have holes everywhere. In this draft, we had 2 top 100 picks, right? We didn't pick again until pick 150 after pick 41. It's because we always trade up. And so one thing I will say is, hey, we didn't mortgage our future draft, which is something that we always seem to do. And so, yeah, I'm glad that we got Kool-Aid, but it feels like that's writing on the wall. That means Marshawn's gone. Fuaga, I don't know what position he's going to play, but it seems like he could play any position, which is what we need because our left tackle that we drafted in 2022 sucks dick. We were better when we benched him last year because he gave up 17 sacks when he was on the field last year in the first 6 weeks. And then our right tackle has, degenerative knee problems. So there's only so much we could have fixed with this.
I will say I like Rattler, especially at 5 or in the 5th round.
I will say Spencer Rattler can throw a football. So if we cut Derek Carr after this offseason and we just give him a year and see what we got with him, and if we suck, finally we get a high pick and we can go get somebody. And if he's good, then we got another 6 foot badass quarterback. You know what I mean? So,
but Jermaine, what about that documentary he did in high school?
It's so funny that that's like a prevalent thought. And then Adam Schefter doing the ESPN like smoke screen for the NFL. Cause he's a Shield guy. Yeah. He's just like, I think it's just bad luck more than anything. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah. It was in high school. How many of you let's go back to your MySpaces, or how many of you guys were doing dumb shit NFL executives when you were a senior in high school?
Yeah. I saw one clip that
he was an asshole. Yeah.
And it was like one kid was telling him, how about you try building me up as a leader instead of tearing me down? And Spencer Rattler kept clowning him. And I was like, that's pretty funny. It was funny, but it's like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about.
Dude, that's where you learn. Like every guy going to college that's a 4 or 5 star recruit is an asshole in high school. He just is.
Everyone's been telling them they're the best forever. At everything. And usually if you're the best at one sport, you're probably the best in other sports too.
Yeah. Okay. You know guys that are great guys now, the George Kittles, the fucking JJ Watts, the fucking all those guys, they weren't 5-star guys coming out of high school. If you're a 5-star guy, you're an asshole. It's a fact. A large majority of those guys are assholes. And if they put a camera on most guys going into college and they did a documentary called Wide Receiver 1 or fucking Tight End 1, they would have found out, Kellen Winslow's an asshole. Oh my God, DeAndre Hopkins is a fucking asshole. Julio Jones is an asshole. Everybody's an asshole when they're a 4 or 5-star recruit.
Yeah. 17, dog. Like, that's a weird stance to take on someone. Like, you're not drafting a 17-year-old Spencer Rattler. I don't get it. So,
right. Yeah. This isn't like it's the NBA where you are literally drafting him right now out of high school.
Exactly. If our OC is as good as everyone says he is, he comes from the Kyle Shanahan tree and he can develop quarterbacks, like this could be a problem for people that Spencer Rattler fell to the Saints, especially at 150, because we had no way to get him any sooner.
By the way, Xavier Legette, the number 32 last pick in the first round wide receiver from South Carolina that the Panthers drafted, had the most 20-plus yard catches last year.
And Spencer was throwing him.
And Spencer was his quarterback. You don't get that many catches without a quarterback that can throw a good deep ball.
Xavier Legette wasn't even on anyone's draft radar until Spencer Rattler was his quarterback.
Right.
Like his year before this one, he didn't eclipse 250 yards.
What?
Yeah. Anyways, for myself, Jermaine Clemendis, for my co-host, Nick Morahan, for our EP, Nevada Putnam. We'll see you next time when you come on down and step into the room.